Wait a second. Okay, so we're going to take a look at comet Elenin here. And we are using the great Stellarium program, which is free on the web. As we look at it here, we can see two things. The clock is clicking down here in the lower right. Shows that it's today's date. And we see here the crosshairs on elenin. Now, I'm going to zoom all the way in here. Before we do that, let's just take a look at other data that we're seeing. Here's the perspective. This is where we're looking at it from. This line here represents the horizon, the foggy line. It means everything below that you would see would be land. Like if I click on the horizon here, now I'm taking that off so that we can stay focused on elenin. So if we zoom out just a little bit like the compass point, as I mentioned, if the land was there, you would only see this much. So we're seeing where elenin rises in the east along the eclipse at noon here. Turning off the land allows us to see all the way to the South Pole, of course. So you're getting the point of what we're seeing here. So we're going to zoom in just a little bit here. And and then we go all the way in, and there it is, see? Yeah. If we zoom in enough, we'll even be able to observe its motion. Get in close enough, we can see. Wait, there it goes. It's moving. Now this, of course, describes the weak parts of stellarium. It's only entered in as a planetoid, but it has an elliptical orbit, and we get the data from NASA. So, you know, it's probably pretty much correct. We can see here that at this point it's at 2.17 AU, counting down to 10987, so on. So it's a little over twice the distance from the Sun to the Earth, which, as you probably know, is what an astronomical unit is, an AU, the distance from Sun to Earth. We use that to measure. So this is 2 of those plus another 20% And so let's zoom out, and we'll get back to business. Stellarium, of course, is a great program, so get to know it. You'll like it. I'll pull all the way out here to, we can see the apex of this, and so here's now, this is current time. We're going to press forward, and we're going to go to the first key point. And as we start to move, I'm just going to let it go a little slowly at first so that you can observe what's happening. We are now seeing what we shouldn't see because then should be there. Now it's rising, now it's at midday, and now it's setting. This is what we can expect in the next few days if we were to track elenin. We can see that as it moves through March here, the constellations behind it are Virgo, Leo. We see that Saturn influences it as well, although, as you're going to see later, the things that elenin moves towards, as far as planetary bodies, become quite collected a little bit later. Kind of, you know, pretty much boring through the rest of this month. So you can see it's going to get closer. We can see up here the magnitude is increasing. It's at 13.7. Now it's at 0.69. It's going to drop again here. There it goes. Distance AU, we're approaching just 2 AU. And of course, it is always going to happen right around the late part of the month, the 20th or so. The moon is going to make its orbit across the sky in relation to the lunar events that happen every month. So this will be, you know, this is a different thing in the sense that these moons now are affected, if you will, according to astrology, by elenin. So there, right around the 18th or 17th, we saw that the moon was, you know, almost much closer to elenin. So that's kind of boring compared to what's coming up next. Check this out. Okay, so 322. We're here about late March now. Pretty, you know. The horizon in this context looks like a waveform. If you see, it's like a line bending. It's kind of interesting that it's just a waveform. Maps of the Earth have that same sort of layout, like it's all look like a sphere out in 2 dimensions. And so this is kind of sort of hypnotic, relaxing sort of video. I hope it turns out okay. So it's getting a little brighter, but still not that great. AU now is below 2. And it's kind of like this. Let's just speed it up a little bit, just a little bit. And we're going to let a few days go by. Now we're at the end of March. And moving into April again. Moving into Leo now. And here comes the moon again squeaking through. Yep. Later, buddy. We're at 1.8 AU now. 13.07 magnitude. So definitely moving with the power of Leo here. We're seeing, you know, it's moving towards those stars. And again, here's May. Here's the moon coming by again. So there's that event. 1.8 AU still. Getting brighter. Getting brighter. All the time. I used to get mad at my school. Oh, here comes the moon again, coming through. See you, buddy. This program here is focused on comet elenin, as I described, and this is a beta version of Stellarium. I actually had to use an older version to get the red crosshairs. The newer version didn't give me that, and when I zoomed in on comet elenin, it didn't show me an object in the new version. I had to use the beta version, so just note to that, to those who will try this. So here is the moon again, and Saturn coming into play, Mercury drawing in, and now here we come towards a key sequence here. Whoa! This is what I want. Now, as we're moving through 722, we're going to see these planets draw in. Saturn, Mercury drawing in. And we see, of course, the Sun, Venus drawing in. So, summertime, this is basically July 24th. Moving into the peak of summer, we're going to feel these other planetary aspects from an astrological standpoint anyway, if you agree with any of that, which I'm the complete noob to all of that stuff. I mean, I know a couple things, but I don't know much about astrology. I do know a couple things about astronomy, like where the things are, but what the things mean and so on, and how you interpret them, I don't know. I mean, the Northern Lights proves that astrology has some merit in the sense that solar happenings can affect us, and since we're electromagnetic creatures, 80% mostly water, then, you know, all bets are off based on what a comet can or cannot do as far as affecting Earth. And I'm going to post a couple more videos in this regard. But enough of my yakking. And here comes the moon again. So you can see that the planets are drawing in. I'm going to fast forward just a little bit here. And the planets will continue to draw in. Okay, we're in August now. 10th, August 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, okay, 22nd. Now we're seeing Saturn very close. And the other planets are drawing in as well. But now it's going to really pick up the pace. And here we have the end of August, and we're moving into September now. And in September, something wonderful. Just kidding. But what does happen is, look at all these planets coming in, yo-ho. Looks like it's going to be pretty special. In 916, 17, 18. Oh, Venus peaking at 919. We have got to get in closer to this. Yes, okay, so now we're going to just watch and see. Venus draws through. Sun. So we've got our planet coming together on 921. But they still come together even closer here. As you can see, they are still drawing together as one cluster. And 922, 923. Now we're really beginning to see this conjunctionary period here where elenin will be rising and setting during the week of 923 with these companions, stellar companions, beaming their energies to us. All for good, of course, my friends. We need fear nothing. Fear is the mind killer, as someone great once said. So we move through that. That's pretty cool. Okay, so we're going to hit fast forward. That goes past, okay, and so those planets move on. And then we have basically perihelion for elenin, which happens right around 1015, if I'm not mistaken. 27 AU, 0.26 AU. So at the closest to us, we see Mars kind of sneaking in there. So Mars and elenin, well, when elenin draws closest to us, here we got 26 AU. We can see it's flipping just right up here. Now it's still decreasing barely. It's going to kick back up here in just a moment as it goes away from us closer. Wait, 9, 5, 1, 4, and there it goes. Okay, now it's counting up, as you can see. Now moving away from us, counting up, and Mars is there. So that's 1014. So we have 915 when the planetary conjunction that we just saw kind of happens. Then we have the closest that it comes to us on 1014 and magnitude 8.05, and that magnitude will drop also. Well, it's interesting that the magnitude is dropping from us. But I'm not quite sure why that is. But as we move forward to the next apex here, oh, Gemini conjunction is pretty interesting here. That's pretty. He's right on the dude's head there. When we get to 11:15. Yeah. So on the other side of the perihelion, where we're at about 5 here. Oh, okay, magnitude's now climbing again. So we're moving away from the brightest period now. Look at this. This is interesting, of course, because as it look where it's heading. Look where it's heading. We know this star cluster. We know what we're looking at over here. This is the Pleiades. So, roundabouts this time, elenin will be leaving our solar system for its 10,000-year trek outward, and it leaves toward the Pleiades. So, this is where we can basically end, because anybody 10,000 years ago would have known and been able to see the value of this. So, if it's visible and it leaves through the Pleiades, it's going to be fun, people. Watch for my next video. Out.